Yo, yo, yo. We have an exciting podcast for you today. It is my boy Nico Luminous. He's an amazing producer. He's got a super dope EP coming out soon, or album coming out actually. And I have had the pleasure of listening to it, and it is just fucking amazing. It's so awesome. It has so many different influences in it, and if you know anything about Nico Luminous, you know that he is just a sick-ass producer that draws in tons of influences from all different kinds of music. He's extremely, devoted to the music scene. He's been doing it forever. He's, seasoned as fuck. He brings the best attitude. I can't say enough good things about him. It's not very often that you get to meet an artist that is so motivated and just so talented and such a great human. I mean, he is just a really awesome and inspirational dude, and he's always collaborating with people, always bringing other people up into the sphere. And I think our conversation today really brought out a lot of, his personality and just what he brings to the table as far as as far as him being a person, and as far as his music goes. I'm so honored to have him. I've gotten the pleasure of knowing him over the years. I've known him for, I don't even know how long, maybe 6 years or 5 years or something. And he's a great dude. So I hope that you enjoy this podcast. I'm hoping that I'm going to have him on our new podcast that we're going to be starting soon. It's called Top Tier Underground. I'm super excited to be announcing this. It's the first 4 episodes are going to drop on January 1st. Top Tier Underground is going to be a podcast that is all about underground music. It's going to be, interviews with artists and DJ mixes, and just really highlighting amazing artists like this. And so stay tuned for that. If you have any questions, hit me up at mindmeltpodcast@gmail.com. Nico's newest EP or album, will be dropping on the 29th, so here in just a couple of days. And I will be sure to Instagram out, tweet out, Facebook, whatever, information on that release. And I hope that you guys enjoy this podcast with my man Nico Luminous. All right, we're recording. So
nice. Let's go. I've got a little laptop tripod thing.
Nice. So how's it going, man? How's LA?
Oh man, it's awesome. It's freaking sunny and beautiful out there. I don't know if you can see.
Is it still smoky?
Not so much. That was the Malibu fire. I don't know. It was like a couple weeks ago almost. Yeah, that was not in my neighborhood, but yeah, man, that's terrible. Jesus.
Yeah, but the smoke must have affected you, right?
I didn't really have to deal with that. If it did, it wasn't like you couldn't really smell it. You could see a thin haze,
Oh, word, that's cool. I figured it'd be bad, but that's cool, because I thought it was I don't even know LA that well, so I don't know where Malibu is in comparison to where you're at. But
it's on the ocean pretty much. So anywhere closer to the west side, I'm a little more inland. I'm in West Hollywood, so that's kind of close to the west side, but the coastal areas, I drove through Venice that day and it was all smoked out.
Crazy.
And actually, no, I did get a super bad headache that day when I went to Venice. So yeah, I guess you're right. It did affect me. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, dude, we get it up here sometimes. I'm living up in North Idaho, so when we booked you for that show, that was in Southern Idaho. But okay. Kendra and I moved up to North Idaho, and we're almost to Canada, so the smoke up here gets crazy every year in August. It's just terrible.
There's fires every year type of thing?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, it's not structural like your guys' stuff where it takes a bunch of houses because it's just mostly in the mountains, but there's so much mountains up here. I mean, last year, Kendra and I went up. Do you know where Glacier is, Montana?
sorta.
Yeah, it's just a big ass national park up there. But we went up there, and then as soon as we left, there was the whole mountain just like broke out in a fire like right after we left. So we were kind of lucky in a way, but you know.
Um, yeah,
So, but yeah, dude. So I first of all, like you are a huge inspiration to me and Kendra. I
dude,
mean,
and right on.
yeah, dude, like I remember the first time I ever heard you live. I had known about your music before I heard you live, but I heard you live in kind of a weird situation
Hmm.
because I was at Symbiosis in 2012, I think,
Okay.
and you played the bed or the room or the living room or
Oh, right. It was that like kind of stage towards the back. It was like
yeah,
closing it down.
totally.
Yep.
And I had actually like partied way too hard the night before.
Yeah.
And I was in my tent, and my tent was like right next to where that stage was.
Hmm.
And so I was like laying there, and I heard you come on and like announce who you were, and you kicked it off. And I had to get up and go watch you because I had heard about you, and like just hearing you in that state of mind, which I don't really know like how to explain it, but it was just like this. I was exhausted, but really feeling it. So it was like really cool to hear just like I before this point I had really been into up tempo music and not so much into bass music. And
Huh?
just hearing the bass like and the bass music and just the way that you did your beats and stuff, it's really unique, and it was cool because it just kind of spoke to me. And then ever since then we've just been huge fans of yours, and obviously we've booked you and gotten to know you, and
Hell yeah.
it's really cool, man. So thanks
That-
for.
Thanks. I don't remember hearing that story. If you told me that, I don't know why I
I
don't.
don't think I did.
Okay.
I don't think I've told you that story before.
Nice.
So
Love it.
yeah, I know. I was just thinking about it like the other day, just reminiscing because I mean I've known like I've followed your music and your
Yeah.
career for
Yeah. But
quite a
yeah,
long
what you're
time.
saying
So
live on SoundCloud or like catching the energy live I've many artists that I look up to for sure. You see them live, you're like, oh, it's just a different
yeah,
level.
it's a different
You
level.
feel it.
It's a yeah, and it's cool because it's inspirational, and your attitude towards music and just how um like because you've been in the scene for so long, obviously you have a different kind of like outlook on music, and it's very uh modest, I guess. It's very like it's unique because it's not you're like the godfather of music in a way. Like you have this like attitude of just it's very like humble, and you know what you're doing. You don't have shit to prove, but it's like
Right.
you're doing it. It's really cool. So
Yeah. Nice. Well, right on, man. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it.
yeah, so you
Thank you.
stepped away for a minute and are working on this new album, and it's fucking just ridiculous, dude. I got to hear it, and it's so many influences, which is another thing your music has always had. It's just a lot of different influences, but hearing like how many influences you brought into it, and that was you singing on a couple of them, right? Or was
Yeah,
that?
for sure. Yeah, that's me
Yeah,
on all
yeah,
tracks. I mean, obviously there's that female vocal hook. That ain't me, but
yeah, right. Yeah. Who's that?
that's actually, I'm not gonna lie, I got that from Splice, and
Okay.
I'm more looking for like I like to, my sound, like to chop up like vocal
Yeah.
sample, do all that. And I was like, I just need a chopped up vocal. I like to take a actual acapella and then chop it up. And the more I listened to it, I just fell in love with it so much. I was like, I'm just leaving this on there, kind of set the whole
Yeah.
tone, and it kind of set the tone for the rest of the song too.
That's
And I feel like
awesome.
I can produce every note of my music. Like using a loop once in a while is actually cool because it's like using like hip hop, they sample shit, right? And they loop
Right.
it. I was just kind of wanted to take that
Yeah.
angle on it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll look up who that is. And the cool part is, yeah, that's royalty free, so you can put it in your music. Do you
right.
use Spice ever? I know you produce and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I love Splice. It's whoever invented it was like so ahead of the game. I mean, it was such a good idea, and it just makes everything, especially as far as collaborating goes, so much easier.
Yeah,
It's insane. And
I was doing that. I never did the samples until like last handful of months, and that was a game changer for sure.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
make, oh, you know, new hi-hat or what, you know, you're sick all your samples and you can just pick a million. So yeah, that, you know, that definitely helps.
Yeah, man, they're really awesome, and I like, you know, do you ever use it to collaborate with people?
Yeah, that's originally why I got on there, which
Yeah,
I love.
yeah,
And yeah, then I was like, wait, there's sample packs here? Like, what the hell?
yeah, yeah. It's cool, man. I actually don't think I've ever used it for sample packs, though.
Oh, dude,
Am I missing out?
it's a game changer. $7 a month. And
Really?
it's pretty much, like, I've never used all the samples because you download one sample and it's like one credit, but it's literally like a penny or two for like
That's rad.
sample. You know what I mean? And then so you're like, oh, I need a drum fill or tom roll, you know, like stuff you
Yeah,
can make, but you just want a different one. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, you go on there, it literally costs you like 2 cents for like a sick, or
Well,
like
that's
it's
I
crazy.
had no idea that you could do that. That's badass. I've always used it just for sharing music, which I mean, it's like just mind blowing because I used to like if I ever did collaborate with anybody or anything like that, it was always like, you know, sharing stems, and that's just a pain
Yeah.
in the ass because it never comes through right. You know what I mean? It's
Oh
just
yeah, yeah, totally.
yeah. So
Yeah,
do you
that'll help you out. $7 a month, it's like beyond worth it. If you're making a lot of music, you're not even if you're making a lot, $7 a month, it's chill, you know.
yeah, yeah, totally. So do you have any cool plans with this release? Are you gonna go on tour or anything for it or
What I'm wanting to do, yeah, I want to book a sweet little tour, like as many shows as I can, and actually, you know, call it See the Future Tour. I've done that like kind of once, but I haven't really structured out a lot of solid tours off of an album. So this one, I got to put some time into it and just, you know, do everything nice and slow. For many years, I was just playing as many shows as I could, wherever I could, and
yeah.
crank music in between. And so it feels good to kind of take the back end route, just sit down, make some music, relax, and then, you know, like book some shows properly. So,
Yeah. Yeah, man. Do you remember when you came and played for us in Boise and
oh yeah,
the
of course.
sound shut off and then you beatboxed?
Right.
Dude, that was the sickest. I mean, like, as far as memories of booking artists go, like that was definitely the best memory I have, hands down. I mean,
That's awesome, dude.
because it just shows, dude. It just shows like the whole, you know, like what I was just talking about, like the experience. Because you know, people don't know how to handle those situations, like when shit just shuts off and you got an entire crowd, a filled room in front of you. That's like, what the fuck, you know?
Yep,
And you
true.
just like use the booth monitors and like
Yeah, what was it? Like the mains shut off or something.
all the mains shut off and all there was the booth, and you
Huh.
just like, and the mixer was still worked, so you just grabbed the mic and started beatboxing on the booths, man. That was so sick. I just asked people on Facebook if they remember that because it was so cool, you know.
Awesome, dude.
But yeah, dude, that was
I
awesome.
got that little piece. I mean, that has happened to me obviously at more. So I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that happening, but I don't remember that show. But I remember that show being really good and Kendrick killing it. And
Yeah,
for her, speaking of inspiring each other, like playing on the decks. And I
yeah.
was like, man, I really got to like, just, that looks just the way. And so now I'm playing on decks.
Fuck
And
yeah, really? That's so great, man.
oh yeah, it's so much better. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so like I just ordered some CDJs, and so because Kendra and I got rid of ours like a year ago,
Okay.
and so we just got some, and dude, it's just like the I don't know, man, like the connected, because her and I just went and played a show last weekend, and we hadn't played out in a long time. We took
Uh,
like almost 2 years off, you know,
I feel,
and
yeah, yep. Nice.
yeah, I needed a little pull back, you know.
It's important, man, because then you can come back with more love and like,
Exactly.
yep.
Yeah, and
Guys took a break.
yeah, so we took a break and we just went down there, and when we just went down there and played, it was like we had not touched the decks in like a year, but it's like riding a bike, you know. We just got back on them, and it was, as soon as I got done playing, I was like, okay, why the fuck don't we have decks anymore? Like, we need to
Yeah,
get them because it's
man,
so, you know, it's like with like, because we don't, you know, use a laptop, so it's like I have done the laptop thing before with playing shows,
yeah,
and it's always just, I'm always like looking at my laptop, you know, and then I'll look up at the crowd and I'm looking at the laptop, and then
yeah,
it just kind of takes away from the interaction, you
for
know?
sure. You're searching for a song, and like I
Right.
don't know what program you played on, but with Ableton you can't just like search the song like you can in Tractor Sorrel. So you're looking around and looking at where is it? Like, and then you practice so you know where this shit is, but live everything's different. That energy's moving. Oh, I feel you. Yeah, taking the laptop out of the equation, it just makes it so much more connected and musical and stuff.
Yeah. I booked this girl, and I know you know her because I think you wrote a track for her, Erica D.
Oh yeah, she's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, dude, I booked her for a show in Boise like, I don't know, 2.5 years ago or something, maybe 3 years ago, and the show totally flopped. It was like 100% my fault. I just I tried something different, you know, like I was trying to do it at a different venue and trying to because like I knew what she did and I knew what she brought to the table, so I really wanted it to be like a little bit more intimate, and I wanted like more of the crowd, her to be with the crowd a little bit more than like that club scene where just people are fucked up and just partying.
Yeah, people can relate to her music and what she brings.
Yeah, and it just totally flopped. But I got it was okay though, because I mean she still got, you know, obviously paid and all that stuff. So it sucks for her. It sucks that it flopped, but I got to have like a really, really awesome show for myself because there was like only like maybe 10 people that came out. It was so small. Okay. And and it was like I got to see her, but she brings so much like of kind of like this live performance in just such a different, unique way, you know? And when she told me that she wrote a track with you, I was like, oh, that's why it sounds so familiar. Because I heard the track and I was like, I commented on her. She's like, oh yeah, you know who Nico Luminous is? And I was like, oh yeah, of course. So
I love it. Yeah, we got another one in the works too. It's actually pretty good. Waiting on her to hit me back.
Word, that's cool. How's she doing? Has she been traveling around?
I think she moved back to Canada, and she's just, you know, cozy up there, getting some new work done. So
cool. That's is she from there or something?
Yeah, she's from Nelson. But
okay. Cool, man.
Yeah.
So what are you doing in LA during the day, like when you're not making music and stuff?
Man, I've been doing all sorts of I'm getting really into like web marketing, like kind of learning that back end of things for all sorts of you know, could be for music, it could be for like business trades, for blowing up companies and stuff like that. Just kind of expanding my knowledge. It's just fascinating. The web always fascinated me. Like even with this phone, you can reach the entire fucking world. Like that is freaking fascinating, and I'm fascinated with learning how to do that, you know, for myself or for other people that have businesses and, you know, like my parents or whoever. So I've been doing a lot of that. Started a little marketing agency, but really most of the time I'm just focused on creating music. I'm trying to work with like more rappers and stuff, like
word,
blow up their sound. You know, I mean, it's kind of, I don't want to say all over the place, but I'm doing like a handful of different things, so it's hard to get focused. But so this last album was like, I'm just going to focus on a future bass album and just put it all in there. So I kind of just dropped everything, did that. I feel really good about it. And so now I can actually, now that I did that, I have a bunch more music that didn't maybe make that EP that I'm restructuring for future releases. So
that's awesome.
To wake up early, you know, get on YouTube because I watch people that inspire me like Tony Robbins or Gary.
Hell yeah.
You know, stuff like that, like get my mind in that mode where I'm just ready to crush.
That is so cool. I mean, like, I love listening to audiobooks and stuff like that of people like that as well. I mean, I feel that 100% to like there, you know, when you get someone that's inspiring like that on that level that has just a way of telling you shit that you already know in a way that you haven't heard yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
well,
you know.
Also, it's I say it's like going to the gym. Like if you go to the gym one day, you're not going to get that much results. Like, cool, you heard about that piece of information that's like really important. But when you're repeating it every day and it becomes part of your actions and how you operate, then that's when you start seeing those changes. It's like going to the gym every day. After 6 months, you're like, oh shit, you know, there are tangible results here. And because of that stuff, Bob Proctor too. I don't know if you know Bob Proctor. He's a little bit older, but man, that guy brings the fire.
Yeah.
And so yeah, really going deep on those guys for the past few years is just even like doing the marketing agency. I'm like, oh, I can do all this stuff. I don't have to just do bass music or you know, it's like it kind of opened my up that I have insane amounts of, or we all have insane amounts of potential.
Totally, dude.
You
that
know?
Is so cool. Do you know who Aubrey Marcus is?
Yeah, I follow him a little bit. I definitely follow him on Instagram. I don't think I've checked out his podcast yet, though.
He has a book.
Okay.
Okay, definitely check out his podcast. It's really cool because, like, I mean, it's like there's two different worlds. You know, there's like the normal, average lifestyle, like then there's like the millionaire lifestyle where they can do whatever the fuck they want, which is definitely how he lives. He has like
Yeah.
flies private jets and does all that shit, but he's super humble and he's super inspirational. And he goes to Burning Man and like he's also done ayahuasca and you know.
I caught some of that stuff.
Yeah. So I think that's really cool because, like he started out, his parents were wealthy and they were kind of like hedge fund people or something like that. I think his mom was a famous tennis player, but
Okay.
A lot of times like there's two different roads that you can go down when you're privileged, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
That word gets thrown around a little bit too much, but you know what I'm saying? Like when
for sure.
Yeah. So like when you're born into a privileged situation where you have the opportunity to become super successful and it's much easier for you, not saying that his road was necessarily easy, but
Right.
but like I think that it's really cool when you see people that do that end up like going an alternative route and still becoming successful, not being afraid of money and not being afraid of power, because those things aren't something to be afraid of. But
exactly.
yeah, I mean, and that's the problem with our community. I think a lot of people are too afraid to allow themselves to become successful.
I think it's to some degree, yeah, it's like the mindset of like, people in that psychedelic world. I guess I don't even know. There's so many places, but I mean, I think I saw like Jay-Z talking about it. He's like, in the 80s, you had guys like Metallica and they couldn't really, it's not cool to be a millionaire if you're this like death rocker or whatever. So maybe it's the same for a bass music DJ. But
totally.
Today, like, money, it's just an abundance and we all need it to take care. And the more you can call in and accept, and then hopefully you, with the intention of spreading it,
right,
then it's like, you want to go for that.
Well, and the thing is like the thing that I think is the most important to recognize with that is that like if the people that are quote unquote conscious are saying that money and power is bad and they don't want it, and people that have money are bad or whatever, then well, the people that are unconscious are the people that are going to get it, right?
Yeah.
And then they're going to have the power and influence. So it's not like but if the good people can be okay with having power and money and then using those resources to bring other people up, it's like then it can be used as a useful tool, which is what I think that Aubrey Marcus does, to bring it around to him.
Like it.
He's worth like, I think like 30 or 40 million. He's built this business up from ground zero. And it's like a
podcast or doing what?
No, he does the podcast too. And his is obviously really successful, but he also has this company called On It. And it's like a human optimization is what they call it, but they sell like supplements, they sell food, they sell workout supplies, clothing, like anything that you would want to have if you wanted to better your lifestyle. So, but it's all it's relatively inexpensive, and they have like kettlebells, like they have supplements for like cognitive enhancers and all this stuff, but he's built it up. Like I remember the first time I ever bought anything from his company was like 8 years ago, and it was
time for a while.
Yeah. So he started it, I think like maybe 8 or 10 years ago, and I bought this this supplement that he had called Roll On and Roll Off, and it was like for taking ecstasy. It like
I feel like I remember that. I remember getting passed around at festivals maybe or something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they used to market them at festivals and stuff. And it was just like 5-HTP or whatever and something else. But he has this book out though that's called Own the Day, Own Your Life. And I really suggest that you read it. If you want, you can log into you can log into my Audible. I have it.
Okay. Nice.
But he it's all about just kind of like what you were saying, like if you make a habit of living the best way you can every day, then you're going to be successful in your life. And like he talks about just like when you wake up, drinking water. It's like little things like that people avoid doing because it's it's like you said with working out, and it's like if you don't get in the habit of doing it every day, it just falls to the wayside. You're like, I'll drink water later. I'll just stop and eat fast food now. And then it just turns into this, all of a sudden you're 2 or 3 years down the road and you feel like shit because you haven't been, you've been dehydrated for 2 years.
Oh man. Yeah. Waking up, drinking coffee instead. Yeah. There's times where, it's like you said, that daily care for sure. And then that puts you in that mode to go. Yeah. Like I said, when you watch those videos or whatever, I know Tony Robbins does his like gratitude meditation where he's just grateful for like the people closest to him, and he just kind of ripples out all his gratitude. He says he starts every day like that, and puts him in that mode to serve. So
do you ever try like ice baths or anything like that?
Man, I suck at cold water.
Me too.
Where that shit hurts my bones. But I'm still open to it. I'm just like, I just suck at cold water. But I know it's
yeah, well, I mean, I think that you get the same benefits if you do like 45 minutes or 30 minutes in a sauna at 175 degrees. They've done like a bunch of studies on just like if you do, I think it's like 30 minutes at 175 degrees, you get similar benefits of doing like an hour of cardio. And they did this like huge long-term study of people that did sauna. They followed them for 20 years. They followed people that did it on average like 1 time per week, 1 time per day, and 3 times per week. And the people that did it like once a day had 40% decrease in all mortality rates.
Jeez, just from whatever.
Yeah, just from.
I love saunas. Yeah, I love sweating. Yeah, I think sweating's huge, right? Just all that, like you just get it all out of you.
Yeah, it increases your heart rate and it gets your blood flowing, and it's just kind of. I don't know why we're talking about sauna. Sorry, I just went down this.
Hey, bro, it's all about health. At the end of the day, it's like when you're healthy and alive and vibrant, you're going to make better music, art. You're going to serve the world better. I mean, that's also what I'm getting to. Is just like it's more. I've never really been like, oh, me. But yeah, cool. You're a musician. You want people to like recognize your art and you want to get some love for it or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's about service. Like, are you creating or am I creating sound waves that are like lifting people up and giving
100.
them energy? When they're done listening to it, they feel good. They have energy to whatever. And that's what I use music for. It is really, I feel like the ultimate drug because it's intangible, yet it gives you so much energy. So anyway, on the tip of saunas and health and stuff, like all of that ties into being, we're moving into that age, whatever you want to call it. It's like, I mean, new age, whatever it is, it's like, it's about health and vitality and like, service and healing the world. Cause obviously there's a lot of just fucked up shit going on and you have to hit it from all angles,
I totally agree, man. I think that it's hard to like for me, I just went through 2 months or 3 months of like, so 6 months ago, I had I have Crohn's disease, so I had, do you know what that is?
I am familiar with it. A good friend of mine used to have it.
Yeah, it's not fun.
All the ins and outs because he didn't talk about it too much, but I know it's a motherfucker. So wow.
It is a motherfucker of motherfuckers, and a lot of people have it. I'm not special by having it, but basically I was like, I lost 50 pounds and like couldn't eat and was in the hospital and just really bad, Mm-hmm. And they told me like the only way that I could fix it was if I took this medication called a biologic, and it's like it basically it gets into your immune system and it changes your immune system and it like works with your immune system to fight the disease. But the problem is like once your body uses this, like your immune system will start to like if you don't take it, your immune system won't function properly. And if you stop taking it, I know, right? So, and then if you stop taking it and then you start taking it again, your immune system will start attacking itself worse. So it's like really not cool. So I decided I wasn't going to do it. I was like, there's got to be a way that I can fix this without it. So I started to read a lot of like paleo diet books and just kind of came up with my own diet that wasn't based on like any diet. It was just like something I kind of came up with myself, and I kind of cured it. I like brought myself I brought myself back into health, and then I started to like work out again because I mean at this point in time I've always been into the gym and always been into health, but at this point in time I couldn't. I mean I would go to the gym and I couldn't lift I would, like, as weird as it sounds, like I would have to go to the bathroom. So like I would have to go to the bathroom like every 20 minutes because my
Whoa.
body was just, it's an internal disease, you know, it's like my body was just tearing itself apart. So yeah, so I started getting back in the gym. I started reading books like what we were just talking about, just like making your life better because I was kind of depressed.
Yeah.
And man, it was like this all these things, these steps that I had to take, and then all of a sudden it like started working out, you know? And it was
Hmm.
just amazing to me how if you if you change your mindset, you make the little things different in your day-to-day life, like you just choose not to go for the donut or whatever and you choose to go for the you know the
An apple.
the kale smoothie or whatever,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, you choose to go for the other thing. Those little tiny choices over a long period of time accumulate, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like investing into a 401k. It's not overnight, but at the end of the day, like you have something,
Yeah. Yeah. Things just take time, like making music or whatever, however
exactly.
albums I've dropped. And like this one is definitely, I feel like the most solid work. And you just got to stick to it and like keep, you just don't break that flow.
Yeah, man.
And I like one thing, like bad habits can't be broken, they have to be replaced.
Yeah.
So like, what you just said, if you're like on these bad habits, like you can't make that go away. You got to replace it with the kale smoothie or whatever. And thinking, I mean, thinking is such a crazy habit. Like
Yeah.
most people don't really understand like self-talk and how they're talking to themselves and running these
Right.
scripts and stories in their minds. And once you're like, whoa, you like catch yourself like third person. You're like, wait, no, I'm actually going to replace those words with these words. And it takes work. It's not like easy, but
Yeah,
then it
dude.
gets easier.
You ever listen to Sam Harris at all?
I can't say I'm familiar with Sam Harris. No, I'll check it out.
Yeah, dude. He's like, you know, go into it totally open-minded because I have no idea what your like beliefs are or whatever, and he's like definitely um very edgy with a lot of things. He's an atheist, but he also so he's super atheist, which I am too, but not a lot of people like that term, and so like just be aware of that. But it he's done like Buddhist like retreats and like silent retreats of meditation for like months at a time when he was younger. He got a PhD in neuroscience, and he has this whole basically he has this app called like Waking Up, and it's just all about like meditation and how we don't realize that our minds are always just running these scripts that
Yeah.
we're not paying attention to. And
Yep.
thought is something that it's just always like flowing and flowing and flowing, and then all of a sudden like you can be sitting there for like 3 hours thinking about something and then just like snap into awareness and just realize that you just wasted 3 hours thinking about something that really doesn't matter, and you have
Yeah.
no idea why you were thinking about it, how
Yeah.
that came into mind. And
Yeah.
so he, like what he has this really great just he's got a really good way of talking, and I just think, yeah, just check him out, man. I don't
Cool.
want to, beat
Harris.
that. Yeah,
Have
I
you
don't want to.
have you checked out Neil Tyson's Degrassi's explanation about atheists and stuff?
Yeah, totally.
Pretty cool. I like his take on it.
Yeah, dude, he's super super cool, man. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, how can you be? The dude is so smart.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. It's insane. I don't remember
yeah,
what about atheists, but he said he's atheist, but he still like uses the concept of God because some shit you can't explain or so. I can't remember. It was really cool. I liked it. It
yeah.
was like very middle ground astrophysicist talk.
Yeah, totally. And that's kind of how Sam Harris is too. Like, he's not like, if you actually listen to what he says, like the reason I was saying go into it with an open mind is because he's had so much bad press. I mean,
Okay,
the
gotcha.
the unfortunate thing about like our current media state is that there's just a lot of like, if you're not saying the thing that everybody wants to be hearing,
Oh, of course.
then you just get blasted. And there's so many like bullshit media sites, that just that's why I was saying be careful, because what he says is really good. It's
Yeah,
not like,
you have to
and
the guy. Most of the time, people are hated. It might be worth listening to.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, think about just like some of the greatest thinkers in history were like that,
Yeah,
uh,
they're never popular opinions. And then they're
Right.
like, for even 100 years, hundreds of years later, or whatever.
Yeah, like man, I'm oh my gosh, I can't think of the like Stoic philosophy. Have you ever listened to like any Stoic philosophy stuff?
I don't know that. No.
Oh, bro, you have got to just you have to check it out. It's like you know, 300 or 500, like Marcus Aurelius or anything like that. Have you heard of him?
No, I
He
have not.
okay, so he's like an old philosopher, but the stuff that he talks about is so relevant today. It's
Yep.
just about like consciousness and treating people, you know, like living the best life you can and like by being in the present moment, not, you know, trying to like be so concerned about the future, the past and dwelling on the past. And I'm just basic meditation talk. And I mean, that's kind of the same thing that Sam Harris talks about. It's like, you know, whatever God is, it's not organized religion, you know,
Well,
like,
yeah, that's all a bunch of crap. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of like whatever God is, it's not that, right? But
Right.
what God could be, like our perception, and like this is what I was talking about with Kanja the other day. It's like no matter what someone's saying, like whether they're talking about God from a Christian standpoint or a Buddhist standpoint or a Muslim standpoint, whatever it is, they're still talking about the same experience, which is
Yeah, for sure.
a state of enlightenment.
Yeah.
And you know, some of the texts just happen to also have a lot of horrible shit that go along with it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like you know, I think that it's kind of it's really good to like not be afraid of the word God and not be afraid of, you know, like whatever
Yeah.
that is, you
I
know.
mean, it's something that you just can't describe. That's when people can resolve to
Yeah.
like describable, intelligent design that, just
Yeah.
no way to describe how your heart pumps hundreds
Yeah.
of or whatever, thousands of gallons of blood a minute or some crazy, like,
Yeah.
what
Or
is that?
like or that moment when you're having sex and you're totally like lost in that state, like that's something that you cannot explain. Like I know that you know, or when you're playing on stage, man, and you have 1,000 people in front of you or whatever, and all of a sudden you just realize that you have been like almost channeling this set, you know, it's like
Yeah, for sure. And
this
it's just flowing through you for like the greater good.
exactly, man. It's like you don't know how you got there, how it worked out so good, like, and then you're done, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? You know? It-
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. That's
it-
amazing.
yeah, yeah. So, do you know if Symbiosis is doing another event this year?
I have no clue actually. I mean, I've been like so tuned out, but
Yeah,
it seems like they skip years,
I know they do. They do kind of like they skip and then come back, and
and I can appreciate that, like how it's
hell
just
yeah,
like I just do it right and don't be rushed. Because I definitely, have friends that throw festivals, and that time of year comes again, like oh, and they're scrambling, and it's just a big stress case. And I'm just kind of done doing things. Oops, my battery in a in a stressful way. I just want things to be like just really done right and with like power and confidence and right timing. But you do have to move. You have to stay on it, move with urgency. But I'm definitely not into rushing or stressing anymore.
I don't blame you, man. It's I've definitely been there, and sometimes I do it still. I mean, it's like you know,
Yeah, you got to get
it's
shit
just
done.
yeah, yeah. But it's so important to put your best into whatever you're doing, and if that means like slowing down, it's kind of like even with relationships, man. If you don't know how to distance yourself from the people in your life in a way that makes it so that every time you're with them, you're really there, you
Yeah,
know, it,
exactly.
that's kind of how I look at music too. It's like when I work on music, I want it to be something where I'm not trying to do it. I want to be doing it, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure. Yep, exactly.
So
Yeah, you like want to be excited. And that's what's been cool about like launching other businesses and stuff because it gets my brain out of music, gets my brain out of festival scene. I'm looking up to all these other like new heroes, like, oh, this dude's rad. He does this and that or whatever, or woman. And then when I come back to music, I'm like, oh, I'm just so pumped as opposed to like, I
yeah,
kind of sit down and pull up another kick or whatever.
yeah.
And yeah, just being inspired and just approach things from new angles. When you take a break, it gives you new angles.
So didn't you use Logic, right? Or
Um, I use everything. I use Logic, Ableton, and I use FL Studios too a
oh,
lot.
really?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
because
that.
I remember like when you and I were talking when you were in Boise, you and I were talking about Logic, and you were just saying that man, it's like it steps the game up.
It's so easy. And I did one of the songs in Ableton, like purely in Ableton, mixed it and everything, and it was good. But when I was mastering them all, I heard my tunes that I make in Logic are just like a little thicker and juicier. I can't really describe it. I'm not even biased. It's just like something I notice.
I've heard that from so many people. I mean, I know so many people that have said that about Logic, and just like when it comes down to mastering it, you can just see a huge difference. And I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand why. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, they're numbers and algorithms and whatever. I mean, eMagic, who made Logic, that was always like the jam. I don't know however many 10 plus years ago. And then when Apple bought them, I'm sure they were able to invest so much money into developing the software on a level that, no one else really can, right? Apple's the biggest company on the earth.
Right.
Yeah, extra like, oh, put some money into the recording program or whatever. But yeah, I like writing beats in Fruity Loops too, especially for like hip hop style beats, or FL Studios it's now called. It's just super fun and fast and it swings. And I love Ableton because it's like faster, like boom, boom, boom. You just pulling shit up and chopping and cutting stuff up so fast in Ableton. I love composing in Ableton. And I do mixing, like I said, in there too. But there's something about just when I'm in Logic, it's just a nice flow. But once again, I'm not biased. I like them all for different reasons,
Yeah, totally. So with Logic, is it hard to get transitioned over to it? Because I've been thinking about doing Logic just for mixing stuff down, because I've heard this from so many people. I mean,
yeah, definitely people are, I've noticed that, like other people agree with that too. Just have fun. Like I remember when I first started, I would just open it up and I would play around in there and like fool with the software and kind of learn it. And then when I kind of hit a wall and couldn't go far, I would just go back and finish my track in Ableton or whatever,
Right.
Just kind of go back and forth until you're comfortable.
What about plugins? Are there any plugins that you like more than others?
For mixing and mastering, I'm definitely huge on the Waves. I don't have the U8. I know people love those and I would like those, but then you have to have the whole hardware and it's just like, I'm always on the move. So it's nice to not have this giant hardware thing I have to drag around just for my plugins, But I like Serum a lot. Omnisphere, I'm huge on Omnisphere.
I was just talking about that with another, like I just had like another guest before you, and we were just talking about Omnisphere. He said it's 72 gigs.
Oh my God, it's so sick. When the one I have is 60. So yeah, the new one is crazy, or 2.7. It's just so dope, and especially for not just making like electronic crunktronic sounds. It's got textures and instruments, and just it's freaking sick. It's endless, and the way you can layer sounds, you can take one of these ridiculously amazing patches, and you can layer like 8 of those.
Whoa!
So you're just getting huge sounds. Like
really?
It's really fucking cool.
Do you ever use any analog stuff?
I do. Where I teach at this school, it's like a music production school over here in West Hollywood. They have an Arturia Mini Brute, which is this giant, like, huge synth. That thing is nasty. I use that a little bit on my album on a couple sounds, but I like analog a lot. Yeah, that's almost like I just like playing with it. I almost don't.
Yeah, me too. I understand. I had a sub 37 for a long time, and we're gonna get it. I want to get another one, not a sub 37, but another Moog, and
Right.
But it's like when I had it, it was always like I just love to fuck around with it, but I very rarely brought anything over, And
That's what I do too. I plug it in. I'm like, this is sick. I'm like, oh, am I gonna use that? No.
Right.
Make some samples for later. Bounce them down, chop up sample packs. Oh, that's my other thing that I've been having fun with, is just developing sample packs. And I'm actually going to make a See the Future sample pack to help kind of cross promote the EP.
Rad. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So that's fun. But yeah, so analog stuff for sample packs is always pretty epic.
Sweet. Well, tell people where they can get at you and about this new release and everything.
Yeah, sick. It drops this coming Friday, November 29th. It's called See the Future, and just Nico Luminous. Type that in on Spotify. If you follow me ahead of time, you'll get the email, I'm pretty sure. It's going to be on Spotify. I'm trying to pretty much push the Spotify thing and or iTunes. I'll put it on SoundCloud. I'm probably not going to put it on Bandcamp immediately. My approach always has been put it on Bandcamp and then like make my initial sales. But I kind of want to drum up all the buzz towards Spotify, trying to get bumped up in the algorithm, whatever that stuff. And I'll put it on. And I'm actually going to put the high quality wave files on my site. So if someone wants to buy like the waves for DJing, that'll be available. It should go on Beatport too. I wonder that has to go through a little process to get on Beatport. But
Right. Well, damn, dude, I'm so thankful that we got to have this conversation, and
For
I'm
sure, bro.
thankful for your
Hey, man.
influence in the scene, and like just how many great times I've had either watching you or listening to you and listening to your Nate Dogg remix. I mean, I've listened to it like a million times, probably have half the fucking listens on that.
That's awesome. I just played that for like the first time in years. I feel you have those old tracks. You're like, I don't want to play this, but yeah, I
Yeah.
played it. I was like, rad.
Yeah, yeah, dude,
Yeah,
everybody loves that track. That track is just I play it out whenever I play out, like I play that track out sometimes, like it's a
nice.
yeah, dude, it's like one of those tracks, man. Like and no matter what, everybody gets down to it no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. It's universal for sure.
Yeah, so
I'm glad to hear that's still getting bumped too. That's dope. It's
yeah.
good, cool to put some work in, and years later, people are still dropping it. That's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, dude, so many tracks, but I
Yeah,
appreciate you and I'm so
yeah,
glad that we got to do this. Hang on just for 1 second. I'm gonna stop the recording and then we'll just close it down.
yeah, cool. All right, man. Take care. Thanks again.